Hello PokeMoshPit, this is Necrostevo, and I believe that this is my first upload on this channel as an official director of PokeMoshPit, so thank you guys for your support, and I hope you all enjoy this battle. Today's match is an RU match that I had against one of my battling buddies, TrainerConnor, and I had a few things that I wanted to test out in this match that were freshly bred. I don't know if any of you guys actually go out and try the Dream World or things like that, but it's kind of a pain to get things like Analytic Beeheeyem and have them be a good nature and breeding them and keeping the nature. But that was one of the main things I wanted to test out on this match, is kind of just the power of it. And of course, I have a few other things in there. I saw that he had a Bouffalant and a Magmortar. My team's not really equipped to take on Magmortar, so I knew I'd have to play around that a little bit, just because Magmortar can hit very, very hard. So I figured it'd be best to start off with Choice Scarf Primate. Whatever he let out with, unless he had Choice Scarf Galvantula or something like that, I could either U-turn or just smack it in the face with a really, really, really powerful close combat. He actually leads out with Cryogonal, and I'm just gonna punch that in the face. Just like in real life, if you see a snowflake, you punch it. I don't want him blasting away my Primate with an Ice Beam. And that works out pretty well. Cryogonal has great special defense, not so great physical defense. So, early 6-5 lead for me, but you guys already know if a battle's being posted, early lead doesn't mean anything. So he actually goes into Sidra Lift now, realizing that I outsped him. That means I'm Scarfed, so I'm locked in on close combat. He sees this as an opportunity to set up. And I see this as an opportunity to test out Beeheeyem. With Analytic and Choice specs, it's going to get the equivalent of having basically a +2 Calm Mind boost right from the start. My opponent's going to get up 2 Calm Minds, but I'm modest, max special attack, Choice specs modest. This is going to be a super effective Thunderbolt. And since he was actually running the Timid set and not a bulkier set, I was fairly sure I could knock him out even with 2 Calm Minds. And I get a crit, and I ran the calc, and there was like a 7% chance of him living that, I think. But that right there was, if it were anywhere from medium to max damage, he would not have lived. So that was a really, really nice showcase of the power of Analytic Beeheeyem. Now, I wasn't really sure what to switch into his Galvantula, just because if it were Choice Specs or Choice Scarfed or even Life Orb, it was going to take a hefty chunk out of anything that I swapped in. Looking at his team, Bouffalant kind of had the best chance of living it. I could have switched in my Rotom, but since it's more of a speedster and it's not very bulky, it probably still would have been 2-hit KO'd. And Rotom can also outspeed a lot of his Pokemon, so I really didn't want to chance that. So I sacrificed Bouffalant to give Rotom a chance to come in here, go for the Confuse Ray. I also could have subbed. This is a little bit of a weird Rotom, but he actually normally works out pretty well, or it doesn't have a gender. This little Pulseman dude here. Knowing that he's confused, and if he goes for a fire attack, Miltank can definitely sponge any of that, and I'll get a chance to set up my Stealth Rocks. He actually switches on the same turn back into Bouffalant. I'm a physically defensive Miltank, so I know I can take any hit that he throws at me, and I thought I'd actually take it better than I actually end up taking it. He actually just goes for Toxic, which is fine for me because I have Heal Bell on this Miltank. But I was going to try to stay in and paralyze him some, because if he went for Toxic, I was thinking maybe he had a different build. But that Body Slam does nothing because I had no physical investment. And this Head Charge does a lot of damage for me being max physical defense. Fortunately, he takes a little bit of recoil from it. I did outspeed him, but I paralyzing him really wasn't working out for me. And I really didn't have anything that I wanted to switch into Head Charge because I was afraid if I switched into Rotom, he'd predict that. So I actually just take the opportunity to go back out, go into my other physically defensive wall, Biocide, and that's just because kind of in RU and NU, there's a lot more physical attackers than there are special attackers, so I found it interesting to run 2 physical walls. And then run other Pokemon that are bulky and take special attacks, such as Beeheeyem. But anyways, though, that Head Charge doesn't really do anything to Weezing, which is really nice, because now I was actually predicting he'd predict the Will-O-Wisp and go into his Magmortar. So I go for Toxic, and I don't know if he did one of those things where he was predicting me or if I just over-predicted. But at least I hit the Toxic. Archeops does not like that. Unfortunately, I took Thunderbolt off of Biocide for Fire Blast before the match, just to deal with the more prevalent Steel types that are plaguing the lower tiers. And he does get to go for a Flying Gym boosted acrobatics, and the only thing that I had on my team that I really wanted to try to take that was Weezing, because he could immediately pain split. And that serves two purposes, of course. That's going to drop him below half HP, and I get my HP back, and so now that his acrobatics is weakened, I can hopefully live another one if I need to. Thinking that he might switch up his attacks, I am just going to go out in the Miltank. Because I kind of already got the Stealth Rocks up, I saw this as an opportunity. Okay, if he switches to Stone Edge or something, maybe it'll miss, maybe I'll be able to live and Milk Drink back up. Unfortunately, he hits, and because of the Toxic and min-max damage there, I'm not going to be able to live another hit from a Stone Edge or an Acrobatics at this point. He doesn't have up any entry hazards, but I don't want a chance switching something in there because I'm just going to die to poison again later. So I allow Miltank to go down in exchange for getting another down on his Archeop. So a double down this turn. Double downs are the best types of downs for all my football fans out there. After a double down, people typically go into their fastest Pokemon, so I expected him to go into Galvantula. I'm just going to go into my Rotom because I knew both of his stab moves are going to be not very effective, and he actually just Volt Switches out. So that I can definitely handle that, because he could probably easily 2-hit KO me with a Thunderbolt, Thunder, or even Bug Buzz, just because Galvantula hits pretty hard, and I'm pretty sure that he's choice specs. He does go out into his Bouffalant again, and I kind of silly. I was a little bit silly there going for that Shadow Ball. It would have been better to go for the Confuse Ray or even the Substitute. But here I just go for the Substitute to see what he's going to do. I was hoping that he'd miss the Mega Horn, or try to Toxic me again, and he actually does try to Toxic me. So that prediction worked out in my favor. And besides Head Charge, Bouffalant normally carry Mega Horn or Wild Charge. Sometimes Rock Slide, and sometimes Y. So I wasn't really worried about Bouffalant behind the sub, is what I'm trying to say in all that rambling. Fortunately, though, he does miss the unfortunately for him, fortunately for me, he misses the Mega Horn while I'm behind the sub, which allows me to hit him with a Thunderbolt. And since I probably would have finished off his Bouffalant anyway, whether I was behind the sub or not, the difference is that here I get a free hit off against his Galvantula. And that's actually going to prove fatal for his Galvantula later, as he breaks my sub, yes, but now I get to get off a Shadow Ball on him. And I don't think I knock him out, but with that added damage on him, it puts him into a very easy revenge killing range, and also he can't switch out. But I do actually knock him out, but that was my mindset right there. So now I'm actually sitting pretty well. Unfortunately, he still has Magmortar, which I really can't do that much about this guy. I'm just going to leave Rotom in. I'm not going to try to do Confuse Ray shenanigans, because when you're in late game like this, I tend not to play around like that if I have the advantage. And I just wanted to put some damage on him. He knocks me out with the Fire Blast, which is fine. Rotom did a great job here. And I'm going to get a chance to go into Beeheeyem. I actually could have gone into Primate, but I wanted to see if Beeheeyem could take a Fire Blast from Magmortar without any special defense investment. This is just max HP, max special attack. And this does a ton of damage. So I was actually wondering if that Magmortar was in Charcoal, holding Charcoal or Choice Specs. But I actually live it on 9 HP, and I'm able to finish him off with a Psychic. So I hope you all enjoyed that match. I hope to upload more matches here in the future. And I'd be interested to hear what you guys think of Analytic Beeheeyem and dealing out that much damage. If you guys could please rate and subscribe to the channel, that'd be great. And I'll talk to you all later. Bye now.